I don't like staying near the podium. How you guys all doing? You guys are marching against Monsanto, and that's the best you got? How you guys all doing? Okay, awesome. So, I'm here to talk about an issue that directly affects those of you who are protesting Monsanto. Now, if you're not doing anything about Monsanto, don't worry. But if you're doing something about it, this directly affects you. Who's heard of the term war on terror? Anyone?
Yeah.
Okay, alright. Now, a lot of people think of terrorists as someone from the Middle East who is about to blow up a building, or someone who is generally considered terrorists, such as the suspected Boston bombers. We think of terrorists as someone who doesn't have any rights, who doesn't have any authority to speak to their issue, and doesn't have the right to the most basic protections of the Constitution. And yet we think of them as somebody else. Anybody but us. Let me read you a quote. This is from Hank Miller. Did I break something? Yep. Okay. This is from Hank Miller. He founded the FDA's Office of Biotechnology. He wrote this in Forbes, July 10th, 2013. Quote, terrorists attempted to gain sympathy and justification for their actions by means of disinformation campaigns that relentlessly smear the safety and utility of genetic engineering applied to agriculture. What did he just call you?
Terrorists.
He just called you terrorists. In 2009, on June 10th, the Department of Defense released a questionnaire. The first question, terrorism threat factors, knowledge check 1. Section reads as follows. Which of the following is an example of low-level terrorism activity? Select the correct answer and check your answer. Number 1, attacking the Pentagon. Number 2, IEDs. Number 3, hate crimes against racial groups. Number 4, protests. The correct answer, protests. According to a lawsuit filed January 10th, 2014, 3 of biotech's biggest players, Syngenta, Pioneer DuPont, and Dow Chemicals Agrogenics, Inc., claim an anti-GMO law passed by the county of Kauai in Hawaii exposes them and their operations to, quote, risks of corporate espionage, vandalism, and environmental terrorism. Who are the terrorists? They consider you a domestic terrorist. So,
Wall Street.
Oh yeah. So what is the country doing about it? Who's familiar with the National Defense Authorization Act?
Yeah.
Okay, got a good crowd here. The National Defense Authorization Act is a bill that's typically passed every year by Congress to fund the military. Boring, line items, money going toward tanks, planes, boats, etc. However, it became a must-pass item over time. And in 2011, they snuck a rider in. This rider says the president has the authority, whoever the president is, to order the military to detain an American citizen without a charge and without a trial indefinitely, and declares America a battlefield. All that has to happen is for you to be called a terrorist. Now, when they declare America a battlefield, here's what happens. Constitution goes away. Nothing else matters. When you declare America a battlefield, that means torture. That means jail without trial. That means lockdown of cities. Who saw the police response in Boston? Anybody see the police response to the Boston bombing?
Yeah.
People were dragged out of their homes at gunpoint. Remember, the police locked down Boston, but the military locked down Watertown. Not only did they not find the person they were looking for until they released martial law from Watertown last year, but they violated the rights of citizens wholeheartedly. How many bullets were shot? Anybody know the number, how many bullets were shot at the suspected Boston bomber?
0.
117.
Wow.
117 bullets. He's sitting in a boat. They know where he's at. 117 bullets were fired. This is what happens when the military takes control of an area. Who's familiar with the Japanese-American detention in World War II? Anyone? Okay. Many people do not know that the Japanese-American detention did not appear out of nowhere. There were articles in newspapers for years saying the Japanese are taking our jobs. They're taking our agriculture. They're destroying the culture of this nation. And then, for their safety, we sent 110,000 of them to prison without a charge, without a trial, and to this date have not apologized for it. Now, about 2 weeks ago, the Supreme Court denied a lawsuit against the NDAA, which had the families of the Japanese Americans who were detained on that brief. Denied to hear the lawsuit. That means it's not unconstitutional, it's not constitutional, we're just not going to deal with it. We're just not going to talk about that right now. Now, the anti-GMO movement, the March Against Monsanto movement, you guys are becoming a threat. Yeah, come on, there we go. Let's go. There are currently 84 bills on GMO labeling in 29 states. Go ahead, come on, yeah. Anti-GMO companies and products are rising up, and several brands, whether it's a marketing move or not, including General Mills and Ben & Jerry's, are taking GMOs out of their food. If it's a real move, we win. If it's a marketing move, it shows they need to appeal to the market, which is us, so we win. The nation's first non-GMO standard, the Non-GMO Project, is seeing great success in independent verification. And open source apps such as Fujicate allow customers to pick out GMOs for themselves out of their favorite product simply by scanning the item. That is Fujicate for those of you who do not know. So conclusion, the anti-GMO movement is now a threat to the state.
Yes!
So how does the state deal with threats? In 1942, Japanese accused of taking over the country's agriculture and being the enemy, as well as the word saboteurs, were detained. Shortly after 2001, the FBI raided and infiltrated, or detained rather, over 1,000 Muslims suspected of being involved with 9/11. They produced that much evidence in court, and they were eventually let go after being detained up to 6 months. In 2010, they infiltrated peace activist organizations, such as the Freedom Road Socialist Organization, and tried to trick them into materially supporting terrorism. They said, here's a group that's fighting for mothers and daughters in Palestine, donate to them, and they were on the U.S. terrorist watch list. In 2011, they executed Anwar al-Awlaki without a trial, without a charge. He's an American citizen born in Colorado, cooperated with the FBI after 9/11, but after seeing what happened to his people here in this country and in Iraq and Afghanistan, decided, I'm no longer going to cooperate. You are killing my friends and you are jailing my friends, and fled to Yemen. They executed him with a drone strike. They also accidentally executed another American citizen, Samir Khan, at the exact same time, who they produced zero evidence was involved in anything terroristic. 2 weeks later, a drone strike executed his son, 16-year-old Abdurrahman al-Awlaki. The U.S. claimed he was 21. It was only until they got public pressure that they changed it to 16, his real birth year. Last year, the Attorney General said he has the legal authority to do this on U.S. soil. And 2 days ago, I was in D.C. I was sitting in the House chambers as they voted once again to continue the NDAA and indefinite detention. The amendment to repeal it lost by 20 votes. So what has happened? We create a category of people called terrorists, and now that category applies to everyone, including the people at this march. See, this is what happens when you create a category of people. We used to call them saboteurs. At one time, we called them blacks. At one time, there were Filipinos. It's a category of people who are considered not to have any rights, who are considered not to have any freedom. And we're okay with it because it's not us. We're okay with it because that category doesn't include me. And what happens every single time is the government or a corporation or another powerful entity redefines that category to include everyone. So, right now in this country, we have an idea that if you call someone a terrorist, they are guilty until proven innocent, instead of the other way around. So what can we do? Remember, everyone, I don't care if you call them a pedophile, or a terrorist, or a child kidnapper, everyone is innocent until proven guilty. Who's seen the movie? Okay, yeah. Who's seen the movie Minority Report with Tom Cruise? Anybody? Okay. He works for the pre-crime division. It's an amazing movie. If you have not seen it, I really recommend it. He works for the pre-crime division as a police officer. His job is to arrest people before they commit the crime. Who's heard the term, we got to stop the terrorists before they strike? Anybody? Okay, that's pre-crime. He arrests people, he sees, oh, they're about to commit a burglary, go get them. They're about to commit a murder, go get them. When he's arrested for a crime he did not commit, he realizes none of those people he was arresting were going to commit a crime. All of them were enemies of the power structure. That's the danger of pre-crime. So what can we do? Number one, everyone, regardless of who they are or what they're accused of, is innocent until proven guilty. Every single person. You get rid of that category, and whatever they start calling them 10 years from now, it will not work. Number two, take this information and spread it. If you want, we have some trifolds there on the table explaining more about the NDAA that you can spread to more people in the area and talk to them about how they're considered a domestic terrorist under this law. Number three, take back your cities to protect marches like this. I founded PANDA when I was 18. I was asked one time, are you guys grassroots? I said, well, I started off a computer in my dorm room, so I guess we're grassroots. We have, since that point, taken 6 cities and banned the NDAA from applying in any of those 6 cities, including the capital of New York. You guys could do that here to protect marches like this. You guys could do that here to protect marches like the March Against Corruption, like the Million Mask March, like other marches going on in this city, where apparently I was told if you're holding a sign, you basically have to get a permit. So, finally, something you can do tomorrow. The reason I flew in, I'm from Ohio. The reason I flew in is tomorrow we're having a concert, and we're bringing in artists from across the country, including the Siren, including Tatiana Moroz, wherever she is, including several other artists that are coming to the Mabel House Amphitheater tomorrow. Doors open at 3 p.m. and we're going to bring a concert to bring awareness to how we don't have to wait for D.C. We don't have to wait for Congress, and we don't have to wait for the Supreme Court, because there are rights and we will take them back. We will have a GMO panel, we will have several other things there, as well as speakers, bands, Saving Abel's coming in, if anybody knows who they are. So we'll have several bands at this event. This is the first of our concert tours, the first concert against the NDAA, and specifically to stop this from applying here in Atlanta and anywhere else. Tickets are $10 a piece if you want to grab them there, if you want to show up at the Mabel House Amphitheater tomorrow. And I'll leave you with this. Remember, when someone is called a terrorist, or when someone says, well, you shouldn't have rights because, well, you shouldn't have liberties because, what they're trying to do is they're trying to control you. What is the one word tyrannical dictatorships have used throughout history to control their people? One word.
Conspiracy theorist.
Close? Fear. Fear. So when a politician tells you, I am protecting you from terror, I am putting in legislation and laws to protect you from terror, what are they saying? They're saying, I am ruling you by fear. We cannot allow that to happen here in Atlanta or anywhere else in the country. Thank you very much.
One day, somebody's going to have to say enough.